They always said in tech, you need something 10x better to replace, the incumbent. That's probably about right. In addition to the trading, you've got all sorts of other things that you're building and then the blockchain can help you do better, including order book matching, transaction execution, clearing settlement, trade netting, cross-asset margining, client onboarding. And again, I remember when I was trading on Wall Street, I would call down to the Merc and place all my orders. And at the end of the day, I had to check all those trades. I had to go to my back office and they had to clear it. And these guys were making like, $4 a contract and just the clearing. There's all this stuff that happens behind the scenes that the consumer doesn't really know about that is super important. And there's a ton of, rent being charged on those things. And so I think one of the things that Sphinx is going to do is drop all of those costs significantly and speed up those processes and even make them better, right?
Yeah, we want to disintermediate and provide as much transparency and direct access to these markets as possible. When you go trade on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange or the Intercontinental Exchange, or even as you go out into the east, the Guangzhou Commodities Exchange, the Shanghai Futures Exchange, they're all set up the same way, and they all suffer from the same inefficiencies, right? So being able to disintermediate, to be able to remove this layer of inefficiency, and a lot of that is provided by advents and blockchain, that's really going to provide benefit that's ultimately passed on to the consumer, right? The reality is, right, even for oil right now on the CME, if you're a non-member on the CME and you have to be a member to trade directly, the cost is $1.50 a contract, and they're trading 6 million of these contracts per day, and that's just for one grade of oil. So, they're running one of the most efficient rackets in the world, best we can tell, and there's no competition. They have no incentive to evolve on behalf of the consumer, and that's really where we saw not only the problems, but also the opportunity. It's very, at the time that we were trading these things, we were so disheartened by not only the ability to access, and so much of our team came from trading crypto, and then we started to look at this and we're like, and as we started to do customer discovery with traditional energy traders and hire folks from that industry into our team, we were like, man, we were dumbfounded, right? We were flabbergasted by the realities of trading these things, right? And there's so much that goes into it, and it can be simplified so much. And that's ultimately benefit that we, as a company that wants to operate responsibly, we want to pass that benefit on to the consumer, right? Like that saving should be with the consumer so they can redeploy capital more efficiently. And so ultimately, the markets can become more liquid, more fluid. So much capital is locked up right now where it shouldn't be. And that's something that we really aim to change.
Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met a CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
It's this narrative you hear constantly in blockchain is decentralization versus centralization. And we complain about the banks who kind of have captive customers. We complain about big tech who have these captive customers. And it's interesting because blockchain I never thought about it going after the centralized exchanges. We think about these other places for information, but that's ultimately what that is. And then you go back to that innovator's dilemma. I mean, why would they innovate when their entire business model is based on that? And they always say, what's the other thing? It's very difficult to convince a man that what he's doing is wrong if that's where he gets his paycheck, And so you got these things working together, and I know these institutions, they're literally institutions, they are the place to go. It's the only shop in town, and it's been around for 100 years, and it's gotten really big the last 20, 30, 40 years. And it's hard to go up against that. Do you find this whole David Goliath thing, if somebody from the CME is watching us, are they going to think I want to get not have Greg be successful?
We want to position ourselves, especially in the early days of this, to be an alternative and adjacent marketplace, not necessarily a direct competitor, right? Like the CME is an institution, and we want the CME to exist. We actually want the CME to exist because that provides the differences in price and in volume and in product from our exchange to theirs provides arbitrage opportunities for traders, right? And so much of that value can be captured, and that actually makes markets more efficient, right? Like that, the ability to discover prices across multiple exchanges makes markets more efficient, and it's so critical to market operations. And you see it very fluidly in crypto, right? If you have Bitcoin on exchange A trading at 90,000 and Bitcoin on exchange B trading at 85,000, like those markets equalize, right? And market participants that have access to both markets can actually earn very serious yield by trading across those exchanges, right? So it's good. It's very good for the traders that we have multiple marketplaces. And again, by offering a venue that is accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that allows traders that traditionally trade on the CME to come offload risk, basis risk, asymmetric risk, whatever their risk is in that moment, or through their eyes. We need to ensure that, and again, I think it comes down to market responsibility to ensure that there's the ability to be able to kind of reduce that risk at the end of the day, right? And on the CME now, right, when an exchange closes, and you see this in the securities exchanges like the Nasdaq or the NYSE, and then you also see it on the commodities side, right? The exchange closes. Now, the pipe that takes orders on that exchange continues to take on orders, but nobody knows what the price is, right? So you have all of these traders submitting, and they think they may have alpha one way or another on which direction the asset's going to move. But at the end of the day, the inability to understand the price from the market's perspective causes huge gaps up and gaps down in the market. When you're staring at the trading screen and you see that big jump in the candle from Friday to Monday, like that inefficiency is represented there. And it's and again, like I think, blockchain provides this promise to help eliminate that. And it's, especially for something that's so critical to human survival like energy, right? Again, we got kids doing this with meme coins right now. Why the hell can we not do it with energy? It's bloody crazy.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.